going on. Indeed, you should treat this video diary as a journal, as well as a piece of intelligence criticism and conspiracy theory and urban legend. Indeed, I'm exploring a lot of very complex themes here. Indeed, it seems the False Memory Syndrome Foundation want to basically cast me as a liar, which is all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the False Memory Syndrome Foundation persecute people like me for the Satanists. Indeed, the False Memory Syndrome Foundation is a network of satanic psychiatrists operating in Wiltshire out of Roundway, i.e. the current Green Lane insane asylum complex. That's all very interesting. They've always been trying to persecute me, the operatives of Green Lane. It's interesting that Green Lane operatives are Devizes police operatives, so it's interesting to consider this. You must never forget that the entire staff at Green Lane are operatives for Devizes police. So it's all very interesting to consider, indeed, the way they've treated mental patients in the last 70 years has been abominable. Indeed, they've killed 400,000 mental patients from various nations, including Russia, Britain, and the United States, in the Roundway complex. 400,000 mental patients have perished at that site. Indeed, it is a ritual sacrifice site and a Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst black site, operated by networks connected to the Sabbatean Dombe cultist Peter Cohen, the chief psychiatrist of Poppy Ward, and his cohorts, i.e. such people as PC James Stevenson of Devizes Police, who was a key operative for the Mossad's Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst continuance. So it's all very interesting how all of this links up. Indeed, Peter Cohen worked for the Mossad also. As I've explained, Mossad are Sabbatean continuum operatives, impersonating Hebrews. So it's all very interesting to consider what the Mossad is. Indeed, it's all very interesting considering the interconnectivity between the Green Lane Psychiatric Hospital and the organ harvesting network of Walter Rose and Sons Butcher Shop. Now this interconnects with Police Sergeant Peter Crofts of Devizes Police, operative in a functional capacity as a so-called psychiatrist of Green Lane and a member of the False Memory Syndrome Foundation. Indeed, he hates me and hates the fact that I revealed him as a pederast. However, he's willing to look the other way if I stop talking about him. Indeed, what exactly is he planning to do if I don't stop talking about him? He's going to arrange for me to be prosecuted for libel, which is interesting considering any judge, Masonic or not, would laugh the case out of a court, because the judiciary knows I'm fucking crazy. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, this is an ongoing campaign of systemic persecution, targeting, harassment, and mistreatment by the British authorities that is going on with me. Indeed, I believe that the staff of Rethink Mental Illness are aware of this and are unsure what to do. Probably because they are uneducated country bumpkins. This is the problem. The Rethink Mental Illness staff here in the supported accommodation I'm living in are aware that I am not a Nazi, and I'm wondering why they were told I was by a member of the council. So it's all very interesting indeed. The council visited the Rethink house not long before I moved in and told them a load of bullshit about me, which is very interesting indeed. This is all a setup by Wiltshire Council, the members of Wiltshire Police, and the judiciary, and the psychiatric establishment, to attempt to cast me as something I am not. So it's all very interesting to note what is going on here. Indeed, I'm being systematically destroyed in terms of reputation by Calm Police and Devices Police. Indeed, they are attempting to cast me as an agent of a foreign nation, i.e., they attempted first to cast me as a Russian agent, and now they are attempting to cast me as an Israeli agent. They don't seem to understand the concept that all intelligence services are factional, and I do not operate for a nation. Indeed, I've explained, nations are obsolete. The state is an artificial construct, and everyone within any intelligence services are all factional. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, do I operate for a faction of Israeli intelligence? Not technically. Do I operate for a faction of Russian intelligence? Not technically. Though my leanings are towards intelligent Hebrews and intelligent Slavs. So I'll let you make what you want to make of that. Indeed, my agenda is the destruction of the British Police's fraternal organisation, including Golden Lodge Number 4 within the Wiltshire Police Headquarters, which is operated by James Stevenson of Green Lane Psychiatric Hospital, who is an arch ritual sacrificer of babies, operative for the False Memory Syndrome Foundation, attempting to cast me as a liar. Now, what am I lying about? This is the thing. I have been mind control programmed for many years and brainwashed. So many things I say may not make sense. However, with the paranoid schizophrenic, the truth is encrypted. And I'm not lying. I'm most certainly not lying about the fact that Peter Field and Sally Field are not my real parents, and that they snatched me at some point during my early years. This is the thing, I got confused, but I was definitely snatched by Peter Field and Sally Field of Devices Police in a big conspiracy by Wiltshire Police to kidnap Rusin royalty. So it's all very interesting to consider indeed. Devices Police are aware of my real identity. This is a carefully covered state secret kept deep in the archives by British intelligence. Indeed, British intelligence are paranoid of anyone finding out about this Wiltshire-wide kidnapping of Rusin royalty. It's interesting to consider the interconnectivity between the Devices Police ring and the Crown. Indeed, there's a debate as to whether the Devices Police ring is actually Crown protected or is simply a criminal enterprise. That's the thing. I do not know. I have no access to databases and archives these days, so I cannot confirm any of my suspicions. Indeed, I am theorizing. This is what people don't get. They think this is a broadcast from a foreign intelligence agency. It is not. It is theories. This is the thing. The uneducated country bumpkins cannot understand me. They cannot understand the way I speak. And because they cannot understand the way I speak, they immediately point to the fact that I am a foreign national. This is true in a sense because I was kidnapped by the Bank of England connected Field family. However, I'm a British citizen who had a British private education, and I'm speaking English properly. This is the thing. English, when spoken well, is one of the most beautiful languages that ever christened the earth. It's all very interesting to consider. Compared to German, the English language, when spoken well, is perfect. That's the thing. It's all very interesting to consider. How did the English language develop so differently from German, considering the Saxons came to England from Germany? There's the question, and I'm not going to debate this in this video because I do not have the answers to this conundrum. But regarding that, the Bavarian Illuminati is an interconnected network of British and German intelligence operatives. As I've called it before, the Anglo-German Cryptocracy. It shall henceforth be referred to as the Aryan Templar network. The Aryan Templar network is in a conflict with the Smersh networks, i.e. Russian intelligence and counterintelligence services, who are operative to destroy the Bavarian Illuminist tradition. Which is interesting indeed. The Smersh networks are at times operating with the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst and are at times operating against it. This is the thing, you're never sure who is working for who at any one time. And sometimes you have to work with your enemies to achieve your agenda. So it's all very interesting. What are the KGB up to right now? That's the question. Do the KGB have any influence on my philosophies? This is the question. I am influenced by Russian intelligence tactics and operations, especially during the Cold War, and I have a lot of respect for Russian intelligence operatives. Indeed, I also find many Israeli intelligence operations to be very slick. So it's very interesting. I really do not like the behavior of British intelligence or German intelligence. This is the thing. So people are basically starting to say, I'm a communist. But interestingly, I'm not. I'm not a Soviet guy. However, I have a Russian soul. However, the Anglo-Saxon and Aryan child rapist, uneducated country bumpkins cannot differentiate between the Russian government and a Russian person. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, British people around here are unaware that there is a difference between the state and the individual, which is rather scary. Indeed, this is Fichte and Hegel and the Bavarian Illuminist statist ideology coming into function. Indeed, the establishment of psychopolitics in the United Kingdom seems to be complete. The Bavarian fusion of man with the state seems to be coming into full effect. Indeed, Wiltshire people seem to think I should be tried for espionage for exposing the British police, which is really interesting. Where have all the people gone who would fight the system? That's what really interests me. Indeed, it seems that people in Wiltshire are taking sides. You're either with Willsey or you're with the establishment. The majority have gone with the establishment, which means they're defending baby rapists of Devizes police. It's interesting, it seems a lot of people have gone with the establishment simply because they don't like the fact that it's Willsey who's been the one to expose the police. So it's all very interesting. Indeed, a lot of this is personal, just as it is in the game. In the intelligence services, people have personal ideologies and personal feuds and personal aspirations that often come into conflict with those of the service and the nation. That is why it is best to think in terms of networks and not in terms of empires. Indeed, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst, Nazi Continuum Intelligence Operation, is not a state agency. It is a decentralized network operating out of a series of several headquarters that are all at times in conflict with one another. So it's interesting, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst concept is not entirely unified. It's very interesting. Indeed, the Russian intelligence services are notorious for their rivalries. Indeed, even within agencies, there are rivalries. Indeed, their inter-agency rivalry is notorious. And their political leanings are so fractured. It's really interesting. Russians are always killing each other. So it's interesting. How many factions back me? I don't know. This is the thing. I'm basically an extraterrestrial intelligence operative, not in the Hollywood concept of the term extraterrestrial, but I'm basically an extraterrestrial. Indeed, I am in contact with a higher cosmic collective consciousness that is guiding my thought processes, guiding me in these videos. Basically, it's all very interesting to consider the fact that I am in communication with the cosmos, which makes me an extraterrestrial interdimensional being. So it's all very interesting to consider. I am flesh and blood, but I am highly evolved. My evolutionary status as a man is far higher than that of devisers police and the simpletons in this county. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst are attempting to shut down the national anarchist movement because they've been making moves towards the Soviet SVR, an attempt to manipulate themselves into the Russian intelligence services as spies for the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst. However, they're making themselves too obvious. Therefore, the Deutsche Verteidigungsdienst is thinking of shutting down that movement. Indeed, that movement has now been exposed very heavily by me. So it's all very interesting to note that the intelligence services are going to have to shut down several networks because the information about them is now in the public domain, which is really pissing off British intelligence. Indeed, Russian intelligence are having to threaten British intelligence because MI5 want to make a move on me. However, they're now being blackmailed by several Russian intelligence sources, as well as Israeli, interestingly. So it's interesting what this is all coming down to. Indeed, I am an intelligence operative. This is the thing. No matter what anyone says about me being a supposed loser, I am an intelligence operative and I am a spy. I am a conspiracy researcher and a targeted individual. Although I don't work for the state agencies of any nation, I am an intelligence operative. I'm a clandestine rogue operative, my own network, which constitutes of one person, me. However, these simpletons can't seem to get over the fact that I am an intelligence and expect me to fail miserably. So it's all very interesting to consider how much me continually making these videos is annoying. Calm police, i.e. the majority of residents in Calm, and devices police, i.e. the whole town. It's all very interesting how the police control this weird little county and operate revenge gangs and confidential police informant snitch networks who are satanic toddler rapists. It's interesting the amount of revenge burns that have gone on when I supposedly slighted a supposed local gangster. And these supposed local gangsters, who are actually Freemasonic organized gang stalkers, have snitched on me to the police. Indeed, even the police are finding it difficult because they're constantly inundated with calls about me that they know are fraudulent. Yet they try to use the intel to make an arrest because they hate me so much. And they hate the fact I keep putting myself on camera and revealing my sources. So it's all very interesting indeed. The cemetery network keep trying to shut down percentages of my internet. It's all very interesting what they keep trying to shut down. They're trying to shut down certain things I'm trying to access, then trying to bury the evidence of the fact that they've been on my server. So it's all very interesting to consider. The cemetery network hate me because I like intelligent Hebrews. Indeed, it is intelligent Hebrews who the cemetery network, i.e. neo-Nazi mind control programmers, are so afraid of. Indeed, I had heard rumors that the CIA refer to me as a highly intelligent Russian that they're terrified of. So it's all very interesting to consider what is going on. Who do I operate for? This is the thing. I do not know. As far as I'm concerned, I operate for myself. However, I know who my enemies are. Aryans. So it's all very interesting to consider. Indeed, I'm going to leave it there now.